DC the beat man.
So epic.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And as you, oh my God, and as you can see here, we got my guy, Mark. How's everything going with you, boss?
No day, no dollar. Happy to be here.
I feel that. I swear, every time we talk, that's all you say.
Bro, because that's just all I feel, bro. Every day's the same around here. As long as I got 1 foot, above ground, I'm out here making it, player. I'm out here making it.
Nah, I feel that. It's kind of sad because I feel like adulting is always just, hey, I'm going to take it one day at a time. Like, I keep saying the same thing to people.
Yeah, bro. I be stressed as fuck in the morning just looking like, man, why I got to be like this? I wish somebody told me this shit.
I mean, to be fair, hey, I remember growing up, people said, look, you don't rush growing up. And I'm like, being a kid is kind of ass. And now it's like, you know what? Sometimes being a kid might not be a bad thing. I ain't mad at it. But I ain't, adult is not too bad. I do get to enjoy a lot. Yeah, I get a lot more things, such as the WNBA. I know you're not the biggest fan. I say you're not the biggest fan, though, people. You're a fan a little bit. But look, man, everyone's been talking about the Aces and Liberty, right? And I understand they got a whole big acquisitions, but and you're a Texas fan, right? The Dallas Wings, they are actually going to be pretty scary. Like, do you know anything about them at all? Just real quick.
Nah, I don't, man. But having roots in Texas, all that, anything that's coming out of Texas is gonna be fine, baby. So I
Hey,
got.
so so I'm gonna paint the picture for you real quick, right? So right now you guys got Enrique Agumbawale, Diamond DeShields, Natasha Cloud, Sato Sabali, and Tierra McCowan as your starting five. And I gotta say, just off the names alone, that can arguably rival the Aces and Liberty. And I mean, you're talking about 5'8" in Enrique Agumbawale, and then everyone else is 6'1" and above. So like 6'1", 6'2", 6'4", and 6'7". That's a really talented starting five. And WNBA, you got like 5'8", 5'10" guards starting, stuff like that. Now off the bench, you got Crystal Dangerfield, Awak Kuier, Charlie Collier, and then Kalani Brown. Now, the bench is where I kind of have trepidation for you guys. That's where I had the question mark. But that starting five, you can kind of swap some pieces out. And again, they have the size already. So they'll be able to battle, I think, the Aces and Liberty when, playoff comes, at least as long as health is in place. But, I mean, you got a team out there, champ, that is looking pretty good, boss. I think you may want to tune in a couple games and just keep them out right quick. They might be hooping out there.
Hey, man, I can say I will check out these games. Like I said, I don't know too much shit about it. You know what I mean? Shout out Liz Cambridge. I do know her.
See, that's where we differ. I understand, Liz Cambage and everybody else, if you need to take a mental break, I understand that. But she quit on my team 9 games before playoffs, and we was in the hunt. I'm just saying, like, she was supposed to be one of our key calls, and she dipped out on us. And again, like, it's like Micah Parsons just leave your team.
Oh no, I'm sick.
Games before, you see what I'm saying? Like, you might rock with her, and I get it. She's appealing, but right now she's not appealing to me.
I get it.
Yeah, not at all. And then also, we're not gonna stay in this too long, but speaking of my Sparks, the Mercury, they are gonna have a debut against my Sparks on May 19th. So, stay tuned for that. But before that happens, and that also will be Brittany Griner's first game back. So, kudos to her. We also got WNBA draft that's going to take place in New York. That will be April 10th. And then, the Indiana Fever with the number 1 pick are probably going to get Leah Boston. So, should be some good times. It will be a good time for WNBA. Now, Mark, again, like I said, you are Texas native, right? And the Final Four, it's occurring in Houston this year. Not who's your favorite pick. What's your favorite pick in terms of where should I go destination wise in Houston? And I'm getting, be there for a couple days. I'm not gonna say when. I don't want people to target me, but like, where should I go, hypothetically speaking?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you just like this, for real, as long as you ain't going to goddamn Fifth Ward and you keep your head on the swivel. By the way, stay away from Jay Prince. You'll be fine, man. Like, it's so much stuff to do out there, so many cultural things, so much. All the sports teams there, man. So you can just pick your poison for real. And that's one of the things I love about it. One thing I will say, fuck a Uber, bro. Rent a car just because Houston is spread out. Like when they joke about it in Houston, like a relationship with somebody on the south side and the north side, they call that a long distance relationship, even though they're in the same city. So that would be my only thing, man. Outside of that, man, go and ball the fuck out.
Okay.
Keep your head on the swivel though, cause I don't know why, man. Like, but
I don't know about ball out. I'm gonna try to ball on a budget. Fake it till I make it. Real quick though, because currently speaking, the Houston, I think Cougars, if I'm not mistaken. But Houston is still in March Madness, right? And they are going up against Miami. Ironically enough, Coach Larry Nager, he was coach for George Mason. We were there, and he made George Mason rank while we were there. So it's nice to assume. It's nice to see, and it's good to assume that he was going to carry forward that success over in Miami. So now we get two back-to-back postseason success rates. If Houston advances though, because again they play Miami today as we're recording, we'll see how it goes. But they advance, and let's say they go to the Final Four, how much more hype is the city of Houston than let's say they don't advance? What should I prepare for? What should I prepare for?
Nigga, I would say the fireworks, like, cause I can make it analogous to out here when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl out here in Tampa. Man, they was sitting there setting cans on fire. You got white people turning up, white joints on titties, like people on the boat, people on the float. So you got that type of element out here where like Tampa, it's a party city, but it's not a party city. Where you go to Houston always lit. Like you could go with $20 in your pocket and find you something to do. So you go to a hole in the wall bar, they maxing out. Like you know what I mean? That's your time to play your trade and get in where you fit in.
Okay. So I gotta. Point is, it sounds like I gotta save up a little bit, just a little bit, and have a good time. Not too much though, because I can make something shake for $20. That don't sound.
Yeah, you can make something shake, especially, man. Think about it. Like somebody win the World Series. It could be a shorty that like she probably would give you no play, no other time, bro. But it's something about winning that makes everybody a winner. Hey, quote me on that shit, bro.
I got you. Hey, so look, it sounds like then maybe I don't need to have an agent. But we're gonna transition over to Jason Tatum versus Lamar Jackson in terms of their finances. Now, Jason Tatum does have an agent, right? It is Jeff Welcher, I guess. Whatever. I apologize if I messed his last name up. But another agent he got is also his mom. His mom makes sure that he don't do no dumb shit. Now Lamar Jackson, buddy, kind of goes to the beat of his own drum. They technically both do because Jason Tatum is allowing that to occur, but he's adding a little bit of a barrier, and it seems though Lamar Jackson kind of betting on himself, trying to get that guaranteed 230. Which one is more impressive to you? The fact that a professional athlete at Jason Tatum's level still allows his mom to regulate to a degree his finances, or Lamar Jackson betting on himself, being his own agent and trying to get guaranteed money, setting a trend for future NFL players. Which one's more impressive to you?
I mean, always standing on your own too is more impressive. No disrespect, Jason Tatum. I'm a Celtics fan, been one all my life. But you know what I mean? I respect the fact that you may be leaning on mama advice, because oftentimes, unless you got a shit mom, she gonna try to do the best that she can and lead you the best way to go.
Right.
However, like Lamar, I think it's impressive because first his play style, betting on himself. Anytime you bet on yourself, man, that's part of being a man. Like, you know what I mean? For better or for worse. I think if this doesn't play out the way that he wants it to, And his reaction based on that, I think that'll solidify my opinion on him. If he rolls his bones and he craps out and he's like, all right, yeah, I crapped out, like let me, get in where I fit in, respect it. But if you crap out and then you start blaming other people, I can't respect that. But currently in its present form, it's something about standing on your own too, man.
Okay, I can respect that too. I'm looking at it like, all right, if I'm in both shoes, right? With Lamar Jackson, I might be cocky enough to say, you know what, I can take good counsel. I can have an agent read over my stuff or a lawyer read over my stuff, and then I make the best decision because it's my body, right? I can understand that. Like as Jason Tatum, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a what's about 25 now? As a 25-year-old grown man with a kid, having my mom regulate my that's quite commendable to me. I'm gonna be on. I might be on one right now, especially if you throw away little Deuce. Imagine if Deuce ain't in the picture right now. That's his son. Like, oh, what? You telling me I'm not gonna ball out a little bit? Every once in a while I'm gonna ball out. I'm gonna still be cool on finances, but I'm gonna have fun. Ain't nobody can tell me nothing. I'm sorry. Financial advisors can advise. You can't tell me nothing.
Big
Like,
fact.
not
No,
at
big
all.
fact.
Like I tip my cap to Jason Tatum for that reason alone. But like you said, standing on your own 2 feet, that is kind of scary. Like not a lot of people will do that. Again, I said I could see myself betting on that's a different story. Like not a lot of people are out here trying to be entrepreneurs, and I feel like that's what Lamar Jackson is kind of showcasing. Hey, like he doesn't rely on people. So I mean, I do get that point. That's tough. That's tough. I might be on the
Like think
fence
about it
now.
like this, like bro, like the Spartans and all that. They had a little ritual where they take the kids, they take them out to that valley and let them fend for themselves. Then if they came back, that's the markings of a man. Like you know what I mean. So to me, if you're talking about what's more impressive, I feel like as black men, you know what I'm saying, my Dukes, like again, unless you had to shit my Dukes, I still call my mom. I called my mom today because I'm getting ready to move. Hey, what should I do? And I ain't got half the money. Like you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can count my shit with a bean. Like, you know what I mean? But that's what we do. So, you know what I mean? But being that independence, you know what I mean? That's been the hallmark of manhood throughout many cultures, for centuries. So that's why I say that's more impressive to me, especially the style of quarterback that he is, where he's gonna be taking those hits, you know what I mean, in the sport that he's playing in. NFL, they say it stands for not for long. So to gamble on yourself like that, I respect it.
Let me ask you this, and we'll transition to the next one. You said something interesting about Spartans and battling and stuff like that. So, do you think Lamar Jackson is worth the 230? Not as a talent, not solely as a talent. You said, you betting on yourself. You're injury away, like that. That's tough. Like, would you invest 230 guaranteed in Lamar Jackson?
I mean, I don't want to come off as like a dickhead, but like I'm a financial analyst for a university. So if I make unsound decisions, I'm getting fired. And I need my little job, and that's how I pay my little bills. I would say, I mean, the guaranteed aspect, that is probably just the stickler point. When you're a Russian type of QB, and I will say he doesn't have the build of a Cam Newton or somebody that's just like a big motherfucker, like you can absorb hits
Yeah,
for
but
a
he's
little while.
also been elusive though too. Like to that point though, he has been elusive throughout his
But
career.
do
So
you
he's not
see how
Cam would always go for quick.
Yeah, but do you see how much faster the NFL gets every year? They got fucking D linemen starting to run 4.5.
Yeah,
So
but they still got highlights of Lamar Jackson still like, and it's every single year. Like I hear you, right? Athletes eventually evolve, and this brother will realistically come back down to earth. But right now, I could legitimately see this man doing the same thing at least the next 2 to 3 seasons. So it's like, is 230 guaranteed worth that?
yeah. So to me, I couldn't. What I would try to do is work out some type of thing where like you either incentivize the contract based on health. That's what I would do. I mean, we know he's a generational talent. We know
That's tough.
what he's capable of, but it's health. If you're a running style QB, the thing comes down to the health.
Yeah,
It comes
that's
down
gonna
to the
be.
health. Now, if you're not willing, like, okay, you let's say we give you the 230 guarantee. Unfortunately, one thing about being an analyst is you use it as a data lake. You see, they gave Deshaun Watson all that money. He looked like dog shit. Sorry. They gave Russell Wilson all that money, and he looked even worse. So, you know what I mean? If you're a franchise, you're making those decisions, and you're GM, because at the same time, you sit there and you sign this contract, Lord forbid, something happens to Lamar, you don't think you're gonna be packing up your things at the end of the season? Like, you get what I'm saying?
But it's also worth the risk, because I mean, not everyone wins a Super Bowl, right? So I mean, I do hear you.
How do you build a team with the residual? You know what I'm saying? So it has to be, if you do say, hey, we're gonna give you some guarantees. However, you have to give us some guarantees. You get what I'm saying? Like, there has to be some type of premium built in where the health aspect comes in, or else the franchise is taking that loss.
No, I
You
get
saw
that.
what he looked like when he got injured. Who did they have at QB? The Huntley or whatever. I mean, the guy was serviceable, but they kind of looked like dog shit. Like, you know what I mean? So
I guess it depends on the team. Like, for example, if he goes to the Dolphins, I think he would look like you could throw a backup QB and they would still be okay. Lamar just puts them as a legitimate, like the true contender,
but they
true
couldn't even
favorite in the
protect Tua.
NFL.
So why would you want to go there though? And I'm talking about, you took 2 vicious hits, bro. If you're Lamar, like, yes, you're way more elusive as Tua, but I mean, them Samoans, they built out of granite. The Samoans, they built out of granite, man. Like, so
I
you get what
don't,
I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't know. To him, we got to see. We got to see. But I mean, either way, I do think from the QB position, it's always tough, right?
He's deserving of a payday, is what I would say. Like, he is.
Yeah,
That's
it's just the guarantee aspect, which again, like I'm shaky on that too. If like my Panthers were in the running for him at one point in time, and I'm halfway glad we decided not to keep pursuing him, because there is that bit of a risk. Like, okay, well, damn, if he gets injured, that is kind of tough. So I mean, I do hear that factor, but he's so electrifying too. I think if you have a solid O line in place, this brother is scary as hell. But again, I'm glad my Panthers stopped going after him, because we ended up getting the #1 draft pick. Mark, let me ask you real quick, right? I got just not even who you picking, I got 4 people as a possible candidate. I got Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Anderson Jr. All right. So here's my thing. Let's go down the list just real quick. Pros and cons. Bryce Young. Why should I draft him? And then why should I not draft him?
You should draft Bryce Young based on just the ability to win, get the job done. I mean, that's the intangibles. That's one of the things that every quarterback needs. That's what gets it done. When the level of competition in the NFL is a razor thin line. Why you shouldn't draft them is, at the same time, he played at Alabama. They're not the powerhouse that the super steamroller they used to be. However, they're always due to be respected. So they got that top talent across the board. So is it the talent around them, or is it him? That question mark always comes when it comes to Alabama QBs.
Okay, I got you. Now, C.J. Stroud, and just to clarify too, if you got anybody else to add, we'll do that at the end of this too, of these 4 people as well. So, C.J. Stroud, what's your pros and cons for him? Why should I draft him? Why shouldn't we draft him?
One reason to draft, he makes the right reads. That is important. So if you show an ability to do that at the college level, then often that translates into the NFL level. And so if somebody, and he played in a big conference, while it wasn't the SEC, it's still a respectable conference. So you have that. Why you shouldn't? To me, I need a little bit more tape on him. Because what I say is the ability to adapt and adjust. I didn't really see a whole lot of that.
Okay, when you say ability to adapt, you mean in terms of the rosters?
Yeah. So maximizing what you have. For instance, there's a wide receiver getting ready to be drafted. I forgot his name. I know his last name is Njigba or something like that. He was more productive than the other receiver, the other two receivers that were drafted in the draft prior. So then, like, how are you adjusting to your roster? So that's something that I would be on the lookout for.
Okay, got you. Now Anthony Richardson. Why should I draft him? Why shouldn't we draft him? Talk to me.
I'm based in Florida. Watch the games. Why you should? He's an athletic specimen. There's something you can get out of him. Why you shouldn't? Honestly, he needs in my opinion, a little bit more seasoning behind, like a nice. If you have a QB already in line, or somebody that can teach him some of the nuances of passing, maybe touch passing or reading the defense or things that like to not just automatically take off and run when the times get hard or something like that. I think he would be, amazing. I wouldn't use a first pick on him. However, like, if he's available late first round, early second round, that'd be the best way to do it. I mean, because you can see he has a little bit of seasoning from the passing perspective. From the athletic perspective, he's an Adonis, man. Like, there's nothing more you can say about him.
Okay. So it sounds like just needs a little fine tuning, but he's that freak of nature athlete that like people tend to look for. Okay, I got you. And then Will Anderson Jr. Now again, this is the first defensive and really the only defensive player on the list, unless you got someone else to add. So, why should we draft him? Why shouldn't we draft him?
He's a D lineman, right? Or is he the
linebacker, edge rusher out of Alabama?
Okay, so when it comes to that, you see how the NFL is. There, you always need a premium of edge rushers. If you can rush the quarterback, there's a job for you. No matter how big or how small. I mean, we think about Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons is only 240. Yet, Dan Quinn primarily kind of uses him as a defensive end. You know what I mean? So that skill is something that can be taught to a degree, but it's mostly honed. That's why you don't really have a lot of phenoms that come in on that first year. They have to be seasoned. You know what I mean? It takes a little while to develop, So if he comes in already with those skills, you just got to spin. You got to spin it. I wouldn't say first overall, because I feel like that, there might be, other needs, but if you're not a QB needy team, then yeah, why not?
Okay. And again, he's about 6'4", 260, ran a 4.6. So I mean 4.65 if I'm not mistaken. So I mean it's not bad numbers. Now, we listed all four of those guys. Was there anybody else that you would think we need to consider, or is that fourth considered good enough?
I say that's good.
Okay. Now, if you had to choose, then right, who would you go with?
I mean, if I'm the Cowboys.
No. You're my Panthers. You're me right now. Okay. You're the Panthers. Yeah.
Who's you guys' QB again? Then you need a QB, like, so we can start there.
I mean, we got like a couple of people, but like realistically, we're looking to draft a QB at number one, ideally, unless the
CJ Stroud. I go CJ Stroud.
So CJ, what separates CJ over again? I think the consensus is Bryce Young was the better QB talent, quarterback-wise, just he's shorter. I know Stroud had Marvin Harrison Jr., and then, Anthony Richardson, like you say, he's that, I don't want to say generational talent, but he's a freak of nature. He looks like Cam Newton. The boy showed out and really, came onto the radar at the draft combine. But to your point, he didn't really have the success over in Florida. I also could ask, all right, well, maybe that's his roster, but, another day for another discussion.
We can have a little bit of that discussion here. I mean, I've watched the game.
We still got to talk about your boys, so.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, that is a topic for another discussion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm with you. Part of that could have been that roster construction, because some of the things that I saw, with wide receivers and stuff. Yeah, but at the same time, I've also seen just some crazy passes, that, just set your feet up. okay, take a second and read the defense. That's just a cover 3 shell. Why, like, certain things that I, as just an armchair QB, was like,
Okay.
hey, why did you do that? And then you see the
You
ball
feel like
picked
he's
off.
not.
Wait,
You feel like he's not coachable enough.
I wouldn't say coachable because coachable is attitude. You know what I mean? But I would say there's some things that need fine tuning in order to merit a number 1 overall. When you're number 1 overall, you want to plug and play, like legitimately plug and play and get positive results. You don't really want to go through a number 1 pick and then you end up being the the Detroit Lions prior to this year, the Detroit Lions. You know what I mean?
Okay. I can understand that. So sounds like CJ is the safest pick then for you.
To me,
in terms of plug and play. See, I go Anthony Richardson. I made a video about this before. I feel like Anthony Richardson again reminds me of Cam Newton. When I look at the game of football, I feel like whoever's that freak of nature athlete, that's the guy to get. And I remember Cam Newton, he wasn't pegged as the best QB. Now, to be fair, stats wise, Cam Newton blew out Anthony Richardson from a TD to INT perspective. Got more yards. I do hear that. But I also saw some struggles in Cam's game, and we were able to fine tune that a little bit. So if we can get any sort of production from Anthony Richardson similarly to that, I think the boy could be special. And again, like I said, he got that athletic ability that a lot of people covet, and I don't think we would be able to get him by our next draft pick. So it's like I would have to consider taking him for that number 1 pick. I do understand though, it's hella risky, and my job is really on the line. But I got to take that risk though, because again, how many people do you see out here walking around like him? Like I'm sure a lot of teams are looking down like we should have drafted Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like
big fact, but also scouting has evolved too. I mean, when Lamar came in, you still had a lot of people in that old mindset. They wanted to make him a wide receiver or just pick him as an athlete and all of that. The minds have started to change, where you kind of got that old generation mindset kind of like dying off, where those same stereotypes and stigmas really aren't there. If the boy can make a play, we want. Conversely, at this position, hold on, one caveat though. Conversely, at this one position, though, you still would have to be able to read a defense.
Okay. So do you feel like you can teach him to read a defense a little bit better when he gets to the NFL? Maybe it was the coaching at Florida, because I mean I haven't really heard Florida too much recently. Like maybe once or a little while ago. But
yeah, they've been doing too hot. But you could, but at the same time, you got to think. Yes, you're a generational talent when it comes to the athleticism, but everybody's athletic in the NFL. You get what I'm saying? Like, no. Don't get like I'm not taking.
I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
No, man. I'm not taking nothing away from him. I wish I could do some of these things, but I can't. But long story short, the separation, the talent separation is different in the NFL. You know what I mean? So you'll get somebody your same size, defensive end, and you think you're just about to take off, and that this doesn't happen. Like you can't just rely on just your God-given abilities in the NFL. You have to learn how to adapt and read a defense. Right. And the thing about NFL defense is they're constantly evolving. Whereas I feel like, and this is my opinion, whereas the offense, like new things happen, but it takes a while to adopt. And once they adopt it, it's the same thing over. For instance, when the Wildcat took Storm, okay, at first everyone's throwing off. Then next thing you know, everyone's using it or trying to counteract it. With defense, it's like responding in real time. So, okay, if we're in the same division as Anthony Richardson, what's the first thing I'm going to do? First thing I'm going to do is draft speed. That's just the first thing I'm going to do as a defensive coordinator. Draft speed, because speed can counteract it. In the NFL, if he runs a 4.5 and I got a corner that's willing to, you wouldn't get a pansy corner, but if you got corners and linebackers still just willing to stand them up, then you're forced to throw. And this is one of your acute weaknesses.
I mean, I don't know. Relying on corners to me.
No. What I'm saying, that's an example. Like, you can say the same thing with the hybrid linebackers, bro. Like, when it comes to defense, you have to respond in real time or get torched. Whereas with offense, It's like, okay, hey man, we found this new thing. Oh, okay, the Wildcat. Now everyone wants to use the Wildcat, whereas defense, you got to just, okay, well, this man, he came out in trips, but then it's like some type of fake screen, some type of weird shit. Then on this side, we have to respond to it, or we're going to get torched all game. And then the next person will look at that, know they don't have the personnel to run that, so then that defensive coordinator has to switch up some things. So that's what I'm saying. Like, hey man, it's an interesting time though. I will say.
Yeah. I'm all I know is whoever we pick at number one, I'm expecting at least 3 postseason bursts and a Super Bowl appearance because that's what our last top 2 picks have done. Which, mind you, we only got 2 of them: Julius Peppers and Cam Newton. Hence why I said I want Anthony Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look, Mark, I hear you. I'm probably gonna be on the hot seat. I understand that. Kind of like
I can't risk my job for nobody else, dog. Like,
I can risk my job for this because that brother looks special. But look, speaking of coaches and hot seats, right? The Cowboys, you boys. How are you liking them in the offseason so far? Y'all scooped up Brandon Cook.
It's about time we're doing something, bro. I got sick of them shitting on the pot. Either shit on the pot and get off. Now they got things cooking. They done caught diarrhea on the pot, boy. These boys, them boys moving. I like what we doing. We're finally doing something. That's not counterproductive to what we say we want to do. You want to win, then get the people to help you win.
All right, so tell me this, then. What are you now expecting from CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks? Are you expecting them to cook? And if so, how much? Like, where can we put them in the wide receiver duo amongst the NFL duos?
So, honestly, part of me is hoping when our first pick comes, we either get Bijan Robinson or I like Jalen Hyatt. I like what he can do. But disregarding that, I'm expecting them to get money and cook. Honestly, you got Cooks opening up opening up the defense vertically. That gives CeeDee Lamb all of that underneath stuff where he's one of those rack type of players. He'll take it and go. You know what I mean? So he, like playmakers. Brandon Cooks is a playmaker as well. However, he depends on the speed. And so when you got somebody that can open up the defense like that, then you can start to get creative. We got rid of Kellen Moore, but we still got McCarthy, who, he won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. So I'm expecting something. I'm expecting something good. If we keep the trend going the way that we have it going, I'm expecting something good. One thing I will say, I wanted us to scoop up Elijah Moore with a trade. I feel like that's a missed opportunity, especially due to we're still waiting on Gallup to get back into form. Right. And Elijah Moore can do a lot of things that Gallup can do, and on a cheaper contract. So, but anyway, I digress.
So it sounds like you're happy of the additions. How about the subtractions? Because you lost Zeke. You feel like that's going to be a big impact? Because when I think of the Cowboys, I think of Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs recently. But you used to think of Dak and Zeke, like, and really it was Zeke and then Dak. So, like, how much of an impact is that going to be for your team?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like, from an emotional standpoint, like, damn, we gonna miss dude. Like, I wanted them to, like, bring him back. Honestly, like, give him a 1-year deal and see what he's gonna do with it. You know what I mean? Just continuity with anything that you do, you know what I mean? Unless it's cancerous to you, continuity, and familiarity, especially when you have an old line in front of you that's kind of played together for quite a while.
You feel like it was a time thing with him and Pollard?
You said what?
You feel like it was a time thing with him and Pollard because maybe they're trying to give Pollard more time because running backs, to a degree, do have like a life. Yeah, I was about to say, like, it gets a little short for them. So, I mean, do you factor that in?
I think it was just the money. You know what I mean? It boils down to the money, and I get that. It's a business. Also, Pollard, I mean, he still has fresh legs and juice. I mean, you can go back to his, college days. He was splitting back time as a running back. You know what I mean? So, when they say you got a shelf life, but your shelf life doesn't just start with the NFL, especially if you're playing in college. You got Zeke running thousands of yards, you know what I mean? Being a 2 year, 3 year, 4 year starter, you know what I mean? So, like, you already have that type of wear and tear coming into the league. I'm glad he got his money. I do hope, it all works out for him.
Okay. Now, interesting enough, well, actually, no, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna come back to this, but someone brought this up to me. Stephon Diggs, that's somebody who you guys should try and target. Is that doable? Do you think? Because I do remember Brandon Cooks having a little injury issue, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say he could potentially get injured. You got Stephon Diggs out there, who I think the Bills are starting to decline, if not declined already. Do you think you could realistically swing him and pair him up with his brother?
Not this year at a cost that wouldn't be Pyrrhic to us, meaning Dallas. You know what I mean? So that's why, if anything, I think they should pick up Jalen Hyatt. You probably can get him in the second round. That fluid. That guy is a fluid runner. I think
give me about 15 to 30 second scouting report on Jalen real quick.
One, I say speed. Next, a prolific route runner. And also just it fits what the Cowboys need. With the injuries to Gallup, tearing the ACL. Yes, modern medicine has come pretty far, but he hasn't returned to form. So having somebody that can just go out there and run routes with the yak speed, you can just catch it and then still take it in. I saw him do it. I'm not a Tennessee fan, but being able to just take that 15-yard slant and then just house it. I'm talking about with straight line speed. That's something that Cowboys need. Then it gives that no goddamn excuse. I don't want to hear my bad. I don't want to hear nothing but, hey, I had corrective surgery. I want to hear the excuses earlier. I want to be like, man, my retina was detached. It won't my fault. Now, look, go get the surgery, and this year, no excuses, man. No excuses.
Okay. I hear that. So, sounds like you happy with the Cowboys. So we're going to speed past them real quick, but kind of talk about them because we're going back to Zeke right fast. Now, interestingly enough, the brother is looking to go to either the Eagles or the Bengals. So my question is this. For those two teams, should we be looking at this as the possible Super Bowl pick? I understand I'm talking to a Cowboy fan, and y'all always say, nah, we're going to make it to the Super Bowl, right? But, the Eagles almost won, and the Bengals almost beat the defending champions. So it's not far-fetched to say, hey, these guys could get there, especially with the Bengals finally getting offensive tackle to help out Joe Burrow in Orlando Brown, which they took from the Chiefs, by the way. So is this a possible Super Bowl matchup realistically?
In terms of the Eagles, no. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cowboys fan, but you got to look at their subtractions. They've been drastically depleted. Drastically depleted from the defensive side of the ball. And in my opinion, defense wins games. Also, I would say Zeke going there for the style of back that he is at this stage of his career. He could change and resurrect himself. I don't know. But the style of back that he was last year for Dallas, trying to transpose that onto the Eagles roster, I just don't think that would, be the thing that gets them there. Because their running backs haven't been smash mouth since they had Jay Ajayi, and he hadn't played. I don't even know where he is these days.
Possibly Detroit or nowhere in the league. I'd have to look that up, honestly. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I just remember seeing.
I don't feel disrespectful.
How about then on the Bengals? Because I know they had Joe Mixon, and Mixon can get a little mixy, but when he gets mixy, he can also get injured too. So maybe someone like Zeke to help spell for Mixon and prolong his career a little bit as well. Would that be a good fit for him?
I'd say it'd be a better fit, but I got to do a little bit more of my own research, just thinking, you know what I mean? Because the Bengals, they were having like a chronic, issue with protection, you know what I mean? So, and Zeke, he can catch the ball, you know what I mean? I'll never take that away from him, but it's something he hadn't been asked to do in Dallas. So who knows where his skill set is there, and that pass catching element from a back, that's something that's always kind of seemed, from what I've been noticing for the Bengals, to be an element that they like in their backs. You got Samaj Piran, Joe Mixon, where you can still open up the playbook, you know what I mean? So I feel like it would be a better fit, but hey, I'd rather see them in the Super Bowl than the Eagles any day. Fuck the Eagles.
I get that. I kind of like him going to the Bengals personally. Again, they got Orlando Brown, so they got the protection for 4 years. They invested in this man, so I'm assuming he gonna protect Joe Burrow because he protected Patty Mahomes. So now you got that adding Zeke to help with the blocking. I think that gives Joe Burrow a little more time to throw the ball. And like you said too, Zeke is moving environments. I know when athletes tend to like switch environments, they tend to change a little bit, tend to adapt sometimes. So I do think Zeke is. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not his pass catching ability does blossom because he's not really known for that. He's known for that power, but he is able to become a pass catcher that might help extend his career. And the Bengals were again just in the Super Bowl and almost back again. So it seems like a good team for him to get back to that. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it at all. But no, Mark, I greatly appreciate the conversation, my boy. This was a good one. Um, I got to say, I was a little disappointed when you was going at my man Anthony Richardson. I hope this brother gets the #1 pick for my Panthers this year, man.
Bro,
Like, if
it's
we
not even
take,
like
dog,
that,
man,
man. I'm
listen,
thinking.
bro. I don't think you understand the level of severity I'm about to text and call your ass if we pick C.J. Stroud and this man is ass. Like, what?
Nah, man,
Oh
he's the
my
safest pick,
god.
bro. He's the safest pick. Like, I think about it. If my job's on the line, I'm gonna do the thing that keeps me and my family fed. I mean, it's such thing as a boom and bust prospect, and that's true. But that's not what you don't want the boom and bust with your first pick. Like,
No,
and
because
that's
some people tried to say Cam was a boomer bust, and that brother boomed
no,
for
but
us
like
real
people
well.
already knew that Cam was still gonna do something. Like, you know what I mean? Because he did it at the
Because he
at
won the
the
natty there and all that. Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Richardson kind of didn't do that for Florida. You know, that's all I'm saying.
I hear that. I hear that is something that I look at. And like I said, I'm not the biggest Florida fan, so I didn't really study it. The team.
The
Buddy
team
just came on my
that team
Buddy
could be.
just came on my roster, like on my radar, not too long ago. Like I remember a couple months ago, I was talking to both you and Sebastian at different times about like Bryce Young versus C.J. Stroud. They've been in the mix for the longest, so I understand why they pick them. It's just this man looks phenomenal on the field. I don't know what to tell you. Like he looks like
They
he's a
come
butt.
up fast, man. Like,
But hey, I will say I'll listen to you because you know you study football more than me. So we'll definitely see what happens at the draft. We can cover it or like talk or do a recap about it another time. So,
all right.
do you have anything you want to say for you before we head off?
Nah, man, just thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure, to chop it up, and do the talking. Like I say, you out in Houston, be safe. Be out on the swivel, enjoy yourself, ball out.
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely get some videos and hopefully you guys will see it and hopefully it'll be a good video. So I'll be safe out there, boss. But look, have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all stay tuned. Until next time, take care.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here.